and the pound. It would have sort of what we call a mint basket. All these currencies in a lovely basket, and then they would borrow the money, and they would pay very low interest rates. So they said like, okay, I always wanted a motorcycle, so I need a motorcycle. I always wanted a Range Rover, so I might as well buy a Range Rover too. I always wanted a Porsche, so why not just buy a Porsche? I always wanted a bigger house, and I'm tired of this old furniture, so yeah, let's just borrow money for that. And I always wanted to go to China or a world cruise or something, so yeah, let's just borrow money for that too. Now people would borrow all this money, and they would say we're paying, let's say, something like 200,000 kronas per month, which they said, it's fine, I can handle this money, it's no problem, this payment every month. The only problem is that since last year, the value of the Icelandic krona has dropped by about 65%. So instead of paying 200,000 kronas last year, today you are maybe paying 450,000 kronas. So people are saying, I can't afford this anymore. You know, I'm paying all this money for my motorcycle, and suddenly the motorcycle doesn't seem quite as exciting as it once was. You know, in fact, you're like, damn motorcycle. Now, how on earth did we get to this situation where our currency devalued itself by 65%? Well, I think the main reason is that we had a few banks in Iceland. You may have heard of them. Is somebody here from England, by the way? Oh, you're from England. I don't have any of your money if you know you're worrying about that. Or Holland. Was anybody from Holland? No, nobody. Yeah, well, like I said, bear with me, I am a historian. If I could explain this in 5 minutes, I probably should be working for the central bank, not you know, the tour guide business. Yeah, let's actually move over to the banks, where the banks are. Let's go to the next corner here. A part of the banking empire we had here in Iceland. Now over here we have Landsbanki, which was the biggest bank. And over here we have a branch of the bank called Kaupthing. Now Landsbanki, they are actually, or were until very recently, on the terrorist watch list in Britain. And they were in the same place as Al-Qaeda and, you know, Hamas or whatever these organizations are called. Yeah, it was, well, I'm not really sure if they deserve to be there. My brother works for this bank. He's not a very violent person. He's not an Al-Qaeda guy at all. He does own a motorcycle, of course, so, you know, but he kept his job, so he's not. He's actually wanted to buy more motorcycles now. He thinks they're all very cheap and wants to buy them. Now, in the year 2001, we had a politician. Now, every country has a politician. Some are better than others. Texas, yeah. Yeah, there was one from Texas.
Yeah, there was just one.
But however, we had a guy, and he said, you know what? He's a great admirer of Margaret Thatcher. And he said, Margaret Thatcher privatized a lot of stuff. I'm gonna privatize stuff too. And he said, okay. So he privatized the banks. He sold the banks. He had 3 big banks, sold them all. Now, we sold them for about 20 billion Icelandic kronas. And we were like, 20 billion? That's a lot of money. 20 billion kronas, we are rich. We are going to build hospitals and roads and bridges and tunnels, and we are just going to spend all this money on all these sort of great things. However, the guys who ran the banks, I'm not sure if they were stupid or criminals. In Iceland, you can actually combine the word banker to gangster to the word bankster. They were probably a combination of idiots and criminals because they ran the banks very poorly. They ran them until 2008 when the whole banking system crashed in Iceland. Every single bank was bankrupt. All the 3 banks, well, smaller banks too, of course. The banks came back to us, this time with a price tag of 2,000 billion kronas.
2 trillion.
Now, like I said, we sold them for 20 and we got them back for 2,000 billion. I'm not an economist, but that seems like a very rough deal to me, you know. It's like, wait a minute, we sold you for 20, you come back for 2,000. Do we really have to buy you? And apparently the answer is yes. We all, we all love to be a part of the government now. So we are having an enormous problem in Iceland paying off the debt of all these banks. We are borrowing money like never before, which is very difficult because the credit rating of Iceland now is one above the junk bond. So if you go and the absolute lowest credit rating is a junk bond, Iceland is one step above that. And there was actually some talk that maybe we would be devalued to a junk bond, which is not a good thing at all. Now, that's sort of explained. Well, we'll go into the banking thing a little bit better.
How has this affected the normal Icelandic person?
Well, let's just say the unemployment rate went from 0 to almost no unemployment, which is nobody here. We were importing people to work to 10% in about 3 months. The prices of everything has gone up, but not as much as the devaluation of the krona. So you are actually getting a sort of a deal in Iceland now. If you would have been here last year, everything would have been at least 50% more expensive. Yeah, maybe even, at least 50%. However, the people in the tourist sector, they have raised the prices of everything for you tourists, so you don't think Iceland is a free, cheap country or something. They do this for you, of course, So if you want to rent a car or something, that has gone up quite a lot because only tourists rent cars. But if you do stuff that Icelandic people do too, then they can't raise it 100% because we get the same amount in salary. We have the same salary every month, so you just can't go in one day and say like, okay guys, I raised the prices of everything by 100%. And then everybody will say, well, I can't buy anything here anymore. So it doesn't quite work like that, fortunately. Let me see. Let's move down to the next corner, down here.